All right, so initially, um, I start my shave using my T-liners. I use these to get as much hair off as possible to try to get as close to bald as I can. And this really helps on the back end when you start shaving because it'll just stop the razor blade from gunking up with hair and whatever you use to shave with. So after I get everything nice and bald and I feel comfortable with that, I like to start in on my beard. And I start under my neck on my neckline. I try to follow my jawline a little bit under my jawline and start in. Don't get too close right away. Kind of start in on and get an idea of that line you're going to use. And then when you start cleaning the hair up under your neck, the line will present itself a little more. And then you can kind of go into detail and kind of sharpen it up, cleaning up some of those loose hairs under your neck that lead into your chin area. After you complete that stage, I start on the upper part of my beard, trying to see what that line I'm gonna use. When I dial it in and I figure out exactly where I'm gonna go, you can kind of crispy it up without doing too much, because you don't want to take off too much because you can't get it back if you take off too much. So just take off a little bit at a time, and then sharpen it up when you feel you got it lined up how you want it. So I think I'm pretty comfortable where I have it here. I like the line, so I'm just trying to sharpen it up, give it a little shape to it, so it's just not like a block. So next is the mustache. Just take a little bit off. You want to see that line. You want to see your lip after you hit the mustache with your liners, so it looks fresh. That gives it the fresh look. I'm using my tongue to poke my lip out a little bit in the corner so I can make sure I hit that corner good. That's a hard spot to hit. Make sure your liners are crispy and in good shape, because if not, it'll be real hard to get in those tight spots. But after you roll through there, you want to get your chin area, kind of bring that same line down, constantly measuring it up, making sure it's looking good. But never take off too much initially. Take off a little bit, see how it looks, because the mustache is the most important part. You don't want to take off too much and make it too thin, because like I say, you cannot get it back. So now after I got my mustache done, I'm just touching up a few spots. Yeah, and while you're touching up your mustache or your beard, don't overdo it with touch-ups. Just try to hit the line, just sharpen the line up a little bit. You don't want to overdo it and make a mistake and have to adjust everything you've done so far. So just keep it simple, especially if you're not real comfortable. If it's your first time lining yourself up, take off as less as possible, and then you can always adjust from there. But if you take off too much initially, you'll be in a world of trouble. Go ahead and get your towel as hot as you can stand it with the water. Work it in as good as you can, and then go ahead and apply your shaving cream. I literally just used soap and water. I lathered up the soap and just put it on my head. Now, before you start shaving, feel your hair. Rub against the grain, because you have to shave directly against the grain to avoid any bumps or any irritation. So as you see, I'm constantly rubbing my head to make sure I know I'm going against the grain. I kind of don't like the way I'm pecking the razor at my head as opposed to just taking nice long straight strokes. So I suggest doing that. The way I'm doing it, I could easily cut my head and I'll be in bad shape. So go against the grain, nice and smooth. I'm actually brushing. I'm going a little too fast. Take your time. After you get done, wipe it down with some more hot water. Let it dry. Then hit it with the alcohol, and you're good to go. If you want to put a little oil, something to keep it from drying up. But at this point, you're good. Thanks for checking out the video. Peace.